Oh, I'm delighted to say that joining the channel now ahead of Championship weekend. We're carrying both games live for you on the talkSPORT network. Just 3 games left of the season. And I'd say the surprise package of the whole season, maybe, but certainly in this Championship weekend. Not a lot of people had the Washington Commanders playing on this final Sunday of the playoffs. And yet here we are. And I'm delighted to say that joining us, tight end of the Washington Commanders, John Bates. John, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you?
Well, yeah, I imagine you're doing good. It's, I mean, I don't imagine that you necessarily thought that come the final week of January, you'd still be getting ready for football this weekend.
Yeah, it's surreal. I've been here for 4 seasons now, and first time in the playoffs, and my first 4 seasons in the NFL. So being in this position, it's surreal, man. It's such a cool opportunity, and I'm stoked for it.
But before we get into all of that and the context of it and why you guys have made it here, tell us about the completion, the third down play, the 4 minutes left that basically sealed the game for you guys on Sunday, because it felt like that leak out for you, that angle route. It's not something we've seen a huge amount this year. You've been used a lot as a wide tight end, and for Cliff Kingsbury to dial that up and for Jayden to throw it your way on that down of all downs, it was magic, man.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a play that we've had in for a long time now. Just kind of been waiting for the right opportunity to run it. Um, I wasn't necessarily expecting that call on 3rd and 5 to seal the game. I think it surprised a lot of people. But Cliff sent in the call, and we got the perfect look and the perfect front it for it, and made a play, made a linebacker miss, and was able to help kind of seal that game up. So crazy too. The play was called Slim Shady, and we got it from Detroit, and Eminem was at the game. So it was kind of like the perfect ending in Detroit was to call that one.
Amazing. What was the reaction like when you get back in the locker room, or even when you just get back to the sideline and you've just made that play?
Yeah, I mean, like pure joy just to be able to, our team to be in a position that we're in, to go into a hostile environment against the number 1 seeded team and to win at their place, the way that we did, and to put ourselves in a position to play in a game that, we've been talking about since DQ and AP first got here. It is really cool opportunity. And so, there was just pure joy and happiness across the locker room, like guys excited for this opportunity, and all the hard work and dedication that we've put in this year into making a run, and to be able to be the team that we are right now is really paying off.
For a guy who's come in and in no way, like, I don't want to particularly cast any shade on Coach Rivera or anyone involved in the previous regime. There were the challenges that were there, and I think Coach Rivera is a phenomenal football coach. But for someone who's been through it and been there for the ownership change, DQ coming in, the new GM coming in, like all of that, how kind of different and optimistic did you feel going into this season, even if the dreams weren't quite there of Super Bowl?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just a fresh start, like a fresh start to reestablish yourself, reestablish with new coaches and new people, and an opportunity just to go out there and like really show like different people who you are. And so it's been really cool just being with Rivera, and then with all these new guys coming in, they've been nothing but amazing to all the players here, people that they've brought in, and people that have been here through all that stuff. And so it's been really awesome.
It must be nice to be like, and it's funny. This is the other reason I think it's amazing you did it in Detroit, because it's kind of that ultimate underdog story, that worst to first story, right? Like, how's it been getting that reaction of people from the outside who suddenly you are, the neutral's favorite team to go and do it all?
Yeah. I mean, I think as a team, we don't really pay attention to it because, I mean, a lot of those same people are the same people at the beginning of the year who didn't have us making the playoffs, had us going under 500, this and that. And so, like at this point, like we don't listen to any good noise. We don't listen to any bad noise because we remember what people were saying at the beginning. And it's been really cool to see like the fan support and everything come out. But we're staying true to our roots and putting our head down, and, taking everything into our hands, and just going out there and preparing and getting ready to play as best we can.
And how has that reaction been when you got back home? First championship game in 33 years for DC. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know everyone in this area has just been like dying for an opportunity like this to make a run like this for this team for, like we said, like 30 something years or whatever it's been. And so it's really cool, and you can really feel it just like out and about with whether it's fans or just people. Like there's just like an energy growing in the DC area, and people have been, like I said, dying waiting for this moment. And so it's really special, and it's something that you want to make this fan base proud of.
So we'll talk about the game at the weekend coming up, but I obviously we can't not address the fact that the conversation around your quarterback now is getting to that level of, is this the best rookie season of all time? Is this a guy who's now a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, full stop, take the rookie, take everything out of it? Just tell us about what Jayden was like coming in from day one, and how impressed you've been with everything that he's managed to achieve in this past 4-5 months.
Yeah, I mean, like since Jayden stepped foot, in the building here, he's been the same person since day one that he is now. He's calm, cool, collected, never too high, never too low, extremely mature, makes great decisions, and works his tail off. And he's, like I said, he's been the same person since he's been here as he is now. And he doesn't let anything get to him. He's very poised, and does a great job of taking control of the offense.
And that's what's amazing to me, is like, as somebody who's kind of watched it and watched the film from day one and watched how the scheme has changed over the year, it's less about the fact that maybe they did help him out and make sure there was some college level stuff in there, and make sure it was easier for him. But you watch his poise in the pocket, and you watch the way that he reacts to pressure and the way that he reads a defense. It's like, if I'd never seen this guy play quarterback before, I'd assume he'd been in the league 10 years. Like, that's the level that it's got to now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a guy that works his tail off. Like he's one of the first people in the building every single day, especially from a player standpoint. Probably one of the first people in every single day, doing whatever he needs to do to prepare himself. He's got a great, quarterback room full of like veterans like Marcus Mariota and Jeff Driscoll that are, I think they're helping him along the way too. And so he's got great mentorship kind of all over the place, helping him, put the pieces together. And it's been awesome to see just how he's performed and handled himself this year. It's really, really professional.
And also, just finally, not to harp on too much on Jayden, but he's such a phenomenal story. I love when we see him on the sidelines, and he just seems to be the most cool, calm, collected, but also just taking everything in and truly enjoying it. And like, I don't know, like you just get this right vibe from him that this is a guy that kind of gets it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a football player, a really good football player to say that. And, when it's time, I think, to handle business and lock in and focus, he's like that guy. And he's not going to let the pressure get to him, get to his head or anything like that. But, I mean, you see a lot, too, when you play, like, have the result that you've been working so hard to get. Like, he shows that joy and that emotion, which is really cool side to see that he doesn't show too often. And so, I mean, all the credit to him in the world for him and, all the work that he's put in to get to this position.
Love it. Look, this weekend, obviously, it's a team that you know incredibly well over the 4 years that you've been in the league, but this defense looks as good as any has done at any point in the season. So how much of a challenge, even taking out the fact that you've got to go to Link Financial Field to do it, how much of a challenge is this defense when you've planned for them this year already and gone up against them?
Yeah, I mean, it's our third time going up against them, and so they know us really well, and we know them really well. And I think in the first two, when you play a team twice, you get to know all the little ins and outs of what teams like to do scheme wise and how they fit stuff, and how they adjust. And so going to a third game, it's an exciting challenge for us. We know they got a good defense and they have a really good team, but we just have to go out there, do what we do, stick to our plan, and execute at a high level.
It's like the front and what we've seen with their blitzing and everything else. Like, I feel like when you're in the game, I don't know how kind of schematically it does work for you, but I feel like you have to have eyes in the back of your head, because I mean, we saw it in the second half against the Rams this past week. They were just running those stunts over and over and over again. And then the final big play, they went, oh, we're just going to totally move away from that tendency and trick you entirely. And that's how we're going to kind of pull the rug. And Vic Fangio just has that in him. So how do you guys prepare mentally to make sure that you can stay that focused in that atmosphere for 60 minutes?
Yeah, I think just taking the same approach that we've taken all year, comes to this week of preparation and getting all dialed in on the fronts and the blitzes and stuff that they like to do, stuff that they could do that they've maybe shown in the past but haven't recently, and just be locked into that and, have a high level of communication. It's going to be loud, it's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of emotions and stuff going on. And so we just got to have the poise to, lock in, focus on our keys and what we're looking at to be able to decipher that stuff and, make plays when we need to.
And like you say, it's going to be loud, it's going to be manic, but really, I'm sure your home stadium going absolutely crazy for you is a wonderful thing to hear. But is there almost anything better than hearing silence in a rival stadium?
It doesn't get much better when you can silence a visiting crowd. That means that you've done a good job.
Love it. Look, John, we really appreciate you taking that time. We know how much prep and stuff you guys have got to do this week, and we wish you the best of luck for Sunday. And, who knows, 2 weeks from today, we might be hanging out on the field in New Orleans, getting ready for the Super Bowl and doing some media availability.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.